promise you're gonna love this podcast. It's so good.
Today's episode of Ghost Stories is brought to you by MeUndies. The best undies anywhere you could possibly. All you have to do is enter the promo code TALKSPACE, therapy on the go, so you can. I thought I didn't know how to cook until I tried HelloFresh. Bird Love has over 900 bra sizes. And that's it for today's spooky ghost story. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast app.
Oh my god. That was amazing.
I know, right?
That's so good.
So good.
That's the best podcast I've ever listened to.
Every podcast ever.
Yo, what up? Welcome to the Pop Culture Bros podcast. Our first topic, memes.
Oh, bro, memes.
Bro.
Exactly, bro.
Bro. Our next topic, rappers.
Dude, rappers, bro.
Bro.
Rappers.
Bro, I know, bro.
Yeah, let's get into that.
Damn it! Another dead end! We don't got any more leads!
Don't worry, I've called in the best expert I know.
Why am I here?
Rachel! You're the only person to have listened to every true crime podcast released in the last 3 years.
Your expertise is what we need for the McDonald's Play Place murder.
It was the husband.
The husband! See, your obsession with true crime is not weird. It's extremely helpful. Thank you, Rachel.
Cool. Bye.
See, if we go from here to here.
Welcome back to the ASMR podcast.
Oh, hey, I just remembered. Do you want to be a guest on my podcast?
Bus, I didn't know you have a podcast.
Yeah, I just started one last year. You know, I just felt so behind the times with this whole podcast thing.
Yeah, I get that. You'd have to be so out of touch to not already have a podcast.
Right? I mean, who starts a podcast in 2019? Oh, hey, Smosh, yeah, how's the new podcast going?
I'm not aware of the sound of my mouth. Welcome to the first episode of the True Crime Guys Solving True Crime. I'm Tim.
And I'm Greg. We know there are a lot of true crime podcasts out there, but we're covering the cases they're simply too afraid to talk about.
That's right, Greg. So, today, in this episode, we asked the question, did somebody key Greg's car? Or did he scratch his own car with his belt buckle?
On Saturday, May 20th, 2017, I walked to my car wearing my signature hot naked lady silhouette belt buckle and noticed a scratch along my door. What happened? And would this make me late for my dentist appointment?
Would Greg have to reschedule his root canal?
The answer is no. I made it, and it honestly wasn't that bad.
Wow. Crime solved.
Crime solved.
What's up? Welcome to our podcast. It's #1 podcast in the world. Probably, maybe not.
Well, that does it for this podcast. Thank you so much for listening to the audio episode. If you want to see bonus highlight clips along with video clips, you could check that out on our YouTube channel. Also, for the Patreon subscribers out there, guess what? We got exclusive still images of this podcast. And don't forget to subscribe to our new podcast. It's the making of this podcast. And you can also watch a video of us reacting to the making of the podcast. And don't forget to also watch all our ads, please, and donate. I'm still living with my parents. Been doing this for 5 years.
Welcome back to Radiolab. We upload twice a decade. Cynthia went to the farmer's market that day in hopes of finding vegetables.
Ooh, podcast? Which one is this?
Oh, no, it's actually an audiobook. It's Fruit and Lust in the Midwest.
Dude, audiobooks are way too much of a commitment. Do you mind if I put on the Constitution podcast? I'm actually on episode 60 of a 230-hour in-depth explanation of the 6th Amendment.
Chapter 2.
Why does everyone talk like this?
Man, this convention is gonna be awesome.
I know, I'm so excited to meet all the different kinds of podcast creators.
This is the microphone used in the first Kiss tours. Gene Simmons. Now, if you can see that this is actually made of a fine Corinthian leather, which I really like the fact that it's Corinthian. I do like that. I don't like these.
Audible.com. Audible.com.
And you can do some post-processing in that and make it sound really nice and...
Whoa. Everyone looks
so different.
I know, dude. We are truly blessed to be a part of this diverse community.
Every podcast ever. 300 episodes.
Jam it on.
Rubbers are popping!
Rubbers are popping, bro.
Another lead goes.
I'm on episode 60 of a 230-hour in-depth. I'm on episode 60 of a 230-hour in-depth explanation of the Sixth Amendment.
Thank you so much for watching and subscribing. We actually just launched our first ever weekly podcast called the SmoshCast.
If you want to watch the very first episode, drop kick that box on the left.
Or if you want to watch the second episode where we address all the Where's Anthony comments, drop kick that box on the right.
And if you want to hear the podcast before it goes on YouTube, you could find the SmoshCast on any podcast app that exists in the world.
Whoa.
Yep.